And it's easy to forget right now, but we're headed right into the heart of flu season. Doctors and nurses are worried about misinformation surrounding the flu.
Amanda Quintana found out how many cases we're seeing and when a spike could start.
The flu and COVID have some similar symptoms: fever, cough, fatigue. The only way to know for sure is to get a COVID test. But take a look at the numbers, and they're extremely different. This graph shows U.S. deaths. The blue from COVID. That small yellow at the bottom is those caused by influenza. Wisconsin's flu cases are unprecedentedly low, too.
You know, we've only had 28 cases since October, which we should be averaging 20 to 30 cases a week.
Tom Haupt, known as the flu guy at DHS, says this is good news, hoping it'll stay this way through the peak in February. Wisconsin is also set to break its record for the most people to get a flu vaccine, with almost 40% of the state already immunized.
Numbers for like the rhinovirus, which is the common cold, have also been down too, compared to what we've had previous years.
He says the theory is that masks and social distancing are working, not just at preventing the spread of COVID, but of other viruses too. But he worries that clinics are not testing for anything other than COVID.
If people are coming in with those classic symptoms that we are suspicious of COVID, then we're going to go ahead and do the COVID test. In fact, we are not actively testing for influenza right now because it's quite frankly not in our markets.
Dr. Dave Ottenbaker at SSM Health says even if a COVID test comes back negative, they're not testing for the flu. Later, if the season gets worse, they could switch to testing for the flu before COVID.
We would expect that if we're going to see the influenza, it'll be after the first of the year.
But Haupt fears we could be missing other dangerous viruses, forgetting the flu can also be deadly.
I mean, COVID will take center stage, but we have to get out of our silo and think about testing for these other viruses as well.
Amanda Quintana, News 3 Now.
If you're not one of the more than 2 million people in Wisconsin who has already received a flu shot, you still have time. There are many vaccines left.